we're live. Woo-hoo! We're on.
We're gonna figure it out. I'm gonna side too. While I'm. Oh Lord. Okay, we got people coming in. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Judy. How you guys doing? They're coming in so fast, I can't read the names. It's all good. Good to see you all. Hello. Yes, we got you.
Yes.
Yes, we're waiting for our guests. I was having some technical difficulties as usual. Okay. So anyway, here we are. Okay. And we're waiting for our guest. I'm gonna call her again because technology don't always work the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
It's all good though, because we're talking about liberating from tyranny. Okay.
Yeah.
And that was a suggestion that I got from, I think, Natasha K. She said something about liberation. And I'm like, yes, we need to liberate ourselves from this tyranny that we find ourselves stuck in, okay? So, hey, buenos dias. Yes, okay?
Buenos dias.
Absolutely. Shalom.
Everything.
Yes, absolutely. So, I am Margaret Williams, okay? I help women who have been marginalized to elevate their voices, stop surviving power systems, and start leading with freedom, influence, and authority. And that's why we're here today with such powerful guest, okay? She has over 10,000 subscribers, and I want to know what her secret sauce is, okay? We all do, okay? What's your secret sauce? So,
we're still canceled. Well, hopefully she'll get here, but who knows? Who knows?
Okay. It's all good. We can't stress. Okay.
Oh yeah, well, good.
We're too blessed to be stressed, and don't you forget it. Okay. I can't have you stressing out over there. Okay.
Nope.
I have to reel you back in. Okay. Like, come on now, Walter.
Man.
Okay. Yes. So, in the meantime, okay, we're gonna get into this. Okay, we're gonna get into the nuts and potatoes of this. Okay, we're gonna go below the iceberg where all the things are hidden that we need to work on. Okay, hello, Evie. Yes. All right. So when we go below the iceberg, where all the troubles and all the things that we are hiding.
Yes.
Okay, those things they're bubbling above the surface anyway. You know, in our daily behavior in our conversations with people. So let's get into it. Okay.
Yeah. They can't hide it, can they? They can't hide their hate. They try to disguise it. They can't hide it. Nope. We see it. We're gonna see it. We gotta react when we see it.
But you know what? But before we see it, we feel it. We feel it in our body. Our body tell us, there's trouble. Here's trouble. I can feel it. I can feel this darkness coming over me.
And what do? They tell us that we're being hysterical. They tell us that we're being ridiculous because we know, our bodies know to reject them. We know what evil is. When we are in the presence of evil, we know, and they have stolen everything from us. They take from us the ability to speak. They take from us the ability to make our own choices, and we know, but they can't hide it. So they wriggle into power like they always do. They slither into power. And once they get there, they start to hurt us. And then they want us to pretend we don't see it even when they're doing it. And all we have to do is open up our eyes. Yes.
You know what? Because they play all these manipulative games, okay? They show you one side, but once they get in there, they show you the true side that exists underneath the iceberg, okay?
Yes.
But we are seeing the signs, but we are internalizing these things, and we like, no, maybe I'm being too sensitive.
It's always us, isn't it? It's always us. It's always that we're wrong or we're overreacting, and that they're perfect and we're imperfect, and our labor isn't good enough. And well, they're great. We're jealous. They tell us we're jealous, we're imperfect, we're sinful. All these things. It's always us to hide their crimes.
Absolutely. While they're extracting everything and leaving us with zero. Okay?
Yep. Nothing but the full day of work ahead of us, and they'll take whatever we build after the end of that day, and they make us work again until we're dead.
Yes, right. Because I lived in Israel a total of probably 11 years.
Oh wow!
But most of the people over there can never afford to retire. They have to work until they're 70 or 80, okay, because they
Yep.
owe the bank for this house, for this mortgage, which they
Yeah.
could really ill afford to pay for. And they will let you take out, oh, how much money you say you want in a loan? Oh, no problem. We'll give that to you. Then they keep adding all the interest and stuff on it. So you never
Predatory
pay
practices. Yep.
you never pay the loan off. You die before you pay it off because it's gonna
Yeah.
go back to the bank anyway. Okay.
Yep. Yep. Oh, these systems that are in place that people just pretend the corruption of these systems, we deserve protections from that. You can't buy a house anymore, and it's more expensive to rent a house than it is to buy a house. But they've structured the system where that we're not allowed, like they know we're not allowed to buy a house, so they can force us to pay times as much in rent money. It's just so unfair.
Why even buy a house?
Yeah.
Why even buy a house anymore? Because the bank is the one that's making the profit off the damn house. Because then you
Yeah.
still got to pay the homeowner insurance. You got to pay HOA fees.
Yeah.
Then you got everything up the wazoo, the maintenance on the house.
I told you, did I tell you? I grew up in a house my parents built. My parents actually built the house. It was a log cabin. You just cut down the trees and stacked them up, and like looked like a regular house. You can't do that anymore.
I
You can't.
love the
Yeah,
I love the log cabin houses. All you have
I
to
did
do,
too.
you're such a good person. All you have to do is just say the word and we'll come and help you build that log cabin
Yeah,
house.
but
Okay,
imagine
because we
that.
all have skills. We all
You,
have skills. I was in construction for 39 years.
yes,
Okay?
you can literally build a house in weeks. You can build it. Whereas the way the system is set up, they've made that illegal. It's now illegal to just build your own house. So you have to hire people to build it, and then you have to pay for that house for the next 30 years. When you could just get some tools and build a house over a couple of weeks with your community. That is the degree.
Absolutely.
That's how wealth is stolen from us. They steal our labor that way. They create these systems. They impose laws so we're not able to impact our reality. They make that illegal. And then they force us to go into a system that is designed to exploit us.
No, that does.
I
Ain't no
guess we're
ifs,
just not
ands,
getting
buts
Zofim.
about
That's
it.
okay.
That's how they keep getting rich, is by extracting from us, from things that we really can't afford in the first place. Oh, well, you have to have this zoning laws. Okay, you have to have
Yes.
these pipes put in because the city says. Where is it? Show me in the specifications, because I used
Yeah.
to work for the government. Show me in the specifications where it says, okay, that
Yes.
this is required by code. Okay?
And that's the thing. It's like there are codes that are good, but then you get people that come in there and they pervert it for profit. It's like we do need
Yes.
codes so people don't electrocute themselves and they don't build a house that burns down. That is important. But at the same time,
Yes.
what they do is they change it. So then they're like, well, this can only be put in by a union and you have to pay that. Or, well, unions are good too, but specific groups that are like owned by the government that get these contracts then, and then they're able to set whatever price they want. It's like when your car gets crashed and you take it in to get it fixed, and the body shop's like, well, because insurance is paying for it, we'll charge like $5,000, even though I could just hammer it out in 10 minutes with a hammer. It's like all these systems are set up to extract money out of systems that should be, easily fixed. And we pay for that, At the time,
And
you're like,
then
good for
you
them.
and then you wonder why the cost of everything is so high.
Yes,
That's
yes.
why. Because of that. Okay? I'm gonna tell you, I used to work for the government, okay? And what I did was government contracting. Okay, I sat down and negotiated with the contractors. Well, I was trying to anyway. Okay,
Yeah,
these
yeah.
contractors, like, this is my price. If you don't like it, I'll take it
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
Okay. And so they basically ramming it down your throat and saying, this is the price that I am, this is the
Yes.
fair. I said, we like fair and reasonable. But fair and reasonable is subjective, because what I think is fair and reasonable and what you think is fair and reasonable is two different things. So
Yeah.
we can sit there all day long and say, okay, I
Yeah.
say, well, look, this is the bottom line price that we are willing to take for it. Take it or leave it. Okay?
Yeah.
I
We
tell them
don't have,
that.
that's right. We
I
don't
tell
have
them
free
that.
market. I say
Yeah,
this
but
about,
I tell them that, but then they'll go back to my superiors and they say, well, she's trying to ram this stuff down our throat. So they'll come
yeah.
back and tell me, oh, well, no, you're doing the contractor wrong. And, you can't treat him like that. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
you hurt his feelings. And,
Well,
oh, why? Well, all the
yes.
way to the bank.
Well,
Okay.
and it's like a good example because this is one of those cases where it's so difficult to talk about because you do need these unions. You do need fair practices so that things work. We do need that. But what we don't need is the president deciding, oh, it's going to cost $13 billion to paint the reflecting pool because he hired his buddies to do that job, right? And it's like but this is how tyranny always works. They take what is a good idea. And I do want to be clear about that because we do need to have unions. We do need to have regulations. We need all that stuff. But then tyranny comes along and it misapplies it and it uses it as a center for profit and it takes away choice because like when you go to the hospital, you don't get to go to a doctor and say, I'm going to go to a competing doctor and see what it costs to get my broken arm fixed. We don't have free market, right? And this is one of the things it's so astonishing because the Republicans always run on free market, but they've deliberately taken choice from us and they do it in every possible way that they can. But yeah, it is a complex thing to talk about because it can so easily sound like we're trying to underwrite workers' rights, but workers' rights are important. What we're trying to get away from is exploitation and when they shut down our opportunity to choose and fair value, fair marketplace value. That is a complex
There is
idea.
no such thing. There's no such thing, depending on who you talk to.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Then they come back, oh, poor contractor. Then they'll tell me, well, you write this up. So I got to justify and rationalize why we should pay this inflated price.
Right,
Okay.
right,
And then
right.
they got to go to the contracting officer. Well, damn, you asking me to do a whole lot because as far as I'm concerned, he do not deserve that kind of money. And
Isn't
it's
that
coming out of our taxpayers'
right?
money.
The way those things are inflated, the way it's like people don't understand, like from my perspective, like what I can get done on just like a shoestring budget, it's just like, well, first of all, like fixing my house, I just do all the work because of YouTube, I'm like, because it's like the price of the labor is too much. But it's like, yeah, the actual reality of what things should cost. And so much of our society, that's where they talk about that, where they just hand out these massive contracts to their buddies, in so many different cases. And but it destroys our whole system, right? Because it makes it so regular people can't afford that work because they're used to getting it from these corrupt mechanisms. And so then just everything gets out of whack. At some point, some common sense has to come back in. But it just shows that this for-profit doesn't justify anything. Because if everything is for-profit, the only thing you create is exploitation in the end, right?
That's all we have. We can see it. We see it every day, all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? As they continue to impede on our
yeah.
Our basic rights. Basic rights.
Yes. Inflating
we're
gas
talking
prices.
about down here, water, our basic needs. If we can't meet our basic needs, how the hell are we going to reach our higher level goals?
Yes. I got an example of that too. A few years ago, a friend of mine, her daughter got in this horrific accident. She survived, but she lost her legs from about below the knee. So she had all these terrible medical bills, right? And we all came together and we were paying for these bills. But in that process, I said, you know what? And everybody's presenting it. Oh, this is such a wonderful story of the community coming together to pay these bills. And I said, you know what? Who called up the hospital and just said to the hospital, how about if you forgive those bills? Why should the community have to come together to pay these bills that the hospital arbitrarily assigned on this poor girl who had her whole future ahead of her? And we just never even take that angle of the story. It's like, look, you can forgive that debt. The hospital can forgive that debt. And nobody wants to cover those stories ever. And those are the things that we have to change in our society.
Yeah, okay. In that conversation, what did the board of directors say? Did they say, "Oh yeah, we can
I don't
do
think
that"?
anybody came forth and even challenged the hospital. It's like everything is so controlled that the second I say something like that, they're like, "Oh, Walter," it's like, shut up about that. We have to, don't you see this girl? This girl needs these. And I'm like, yes, I'm addressing the fact that this girl is about to have her life ruined. Well, we can just come together and pay these bills. It's like, why don't we come together and use that money for a scholarship, and the hospital can forgive the bills, but they can turn and manipulate the argument so that they make me look like the bad guy for just bringing up something basic like that. Oh, I guess
Of
Monroe's got a
course,
bad
because you know
connection.
why? Because you're challenging the status quo, and
Yep.
people in power don't want to be challenged.
Well,
They don't want to be checked. They want you to shut up and comply.
yes. And it's so
Bend
hard to
over,
break through.
bend over.
And it's so hard. And then
In
people just have
essence,
to understand any system where people accrue massive fortunes, it's just through oppression. It's just through exploitation. It's just through an abuse of systems that should be good systems that are based on ideas that are for our benefit. But once you get to the point where they're exploited and inflated contracts are being handed out to privileged groups that don't have the merit to even do the work, that's when we have an issue. I mean, we see that in this entire administration, where absolutely every role that they can fill, they pick the least qualified person to fill that role. They put them in charge of $100 million budgets, which they then funnel down. We're seeing the contrast with guys like Mamdani, who is using the power of his office to responsibly distribute the money that's in his control, giving it back to the people who deserve it. And it's so hard to get people to just become aware of this reality of our times. And yes, we're for unions. Unions help people. And yes, we're for fair compensation. But what we are against is the exploitation that's imposed upon us by, false use of these regulations in many instances.
well, I'm gonna talk. Let's talk about the union because they have crippled the union. Okay,
Oh,
and as
gosh.
far
Yeah.
as because I worked for the federal government, we had a union, but it wasn't worth the paper it was written on. Okay, I couldn't go to them and get any satisfaction. So why would I come to you and have any conversation whatsoever and waste
Yeah.
my time? Okay, so we see that, and even with collective bargaining. Okay,
Yeah.
when Trump came in, he eliminated collective bargaining, so he weakened the
Yep.
union. It doesn't have a leg to stand on. And look at what they did with the auto factories. Okay, they started privatizing or whatever, getting rid of the union
Yes.
down there and say right to work. I think it was called right to work.
Yeah.
Okay, so they was
Yeah.
eliminating the
They
unions
always
that
have a
way. So
name.
they find ways to water stuff down and to just dilute it to
Yes.
the point it don't even exist. Like,
And that is such a key thing about how tyranny works. It's that steady erosion of our rights. It's not something they do, and they're going to do it every day. That's the other thing. We can never allow ourselves to become complacent, and we're in the case we are now because we became complacent. But as we were saying before, they always turn everything back against us. We're not good enough. We're morally corrupt. We're jealous. Our work wasn't good. That's what they always say. They're very good at pointing at us. But like a basic example is this. A few years back, my daughter had taken a placement test to take the algebra class the next year. And she's a very, very good student. And so I was waiting for this confirmation. She was going to take the algebra class. And it never came. So I wrote the teacher. I'm like, is she in it? And I'm like, well, she didn't do well enough. She didn't do well enough on the test. So I said, all right, I want to see. Well, I said, I want to see the test. And they're just like, no. And it's like, I'm a physics teacher. I know. And it's like, and like, why? And I'm like, I want to see it to make sure you graded it right. I want to make sure you didn't make mistakes. They were fighting me on seeing this test. And I'm like, all right, tell me the details. What score did she get? What did she need? And it was like, out of 50 points, you needed to get 40, and she got like a 39. And I'm just like,
what?
She wants to take the class,
What
I
the-
said. Yeah. Well, because we're an immigrant family. We're an immigrant family. Yes.
That's
So
bullshit.
it is. And so I was but you have to make a stink, right? Because this is what they depend on. They depend on you just being like, okay, I trust. I'm like, no, I want to see every test. I want to check every number. I want to make sure that you didn't mess up as a teacher and grade it incorrectly. I need to see that with my own eyes. If this is true, I want to see it. And also, I'm just asking for my daughter to be in the class that she wants to take. Why are you telling me that my child that wants to take an advanced math class can't take it? I mean, what the hell kind of school do we live in? What society do we live in? And so They had to call a meeting. They called a meeting between the principal, the vice principal, and the teacher, and they eventually allowed her to get into that class. But here's the kicker. She gets into the class, and she's just like, that kid's no good, that kid's no good. Like, all these kids failed the class. She got the highest grade in the class. This happens every day. And this is why it's so, my heart breaks for kids who don't have parents who stand up and advocate for them. And you have to assume, I tell my kids every single time. I see Sturge writes it down as here. That's great to see him. But I tell this to parents all the time. You have to double check. You always trust your kids. And this gets back to that fundamental theory I have, that in the United States, we deny children of all races and genders and sexual orientation and religion. We deny everybody personhood in this state, in this country, as traditional families. They don't recognize children as people until they're 13, 14, 15, maybe as late as 18. And we have to overcome that first. We have to recognize our children as people from day one, so we are not trauma bonded to obeying cruel patriarchal authority. And we know that we have the right to stand up for things because we are human beings and we deserve the same sort of rights. Kid, you have to stand up for your kids. Parents have to be active for their kids and always assume your kids are right and that they're being suppressed and denied opportunities, because they are.
Absolutely. We need to stand by our kids. Don't take the teacher's word for it. Teachers lie. Everybody lies.
Yeah.
Right? Because once you tell your kid, if you say you don't trust your kid, then your kid is never going to forget that, and they will never tell you nothing else. I wouldn't.
Right.
If you tell me I'm lying and you didn't, you're not going to believe me or even ask me, I would never tell you nothing else.
Yeah.
If I was that kid, I wouldn't trust you for nothing.
And this system is designed to divide us on every levels. And the foundational brick of dividing us is subjecting our children to go through a period of non-person status. Everybody does it. That is how traditional families in the United States, unless you are deliberately making a choice not to. And from the beginning, when I had my kids, I'm like, I'm going to treat my kids like they're people. And it's like people are, and I'm estranged from my home family, so I just had to do it my way. But I'm just like, no, people who don't abide by that belief are not welcome. And I got so much pressure at so many levels of society. Oh, you're going to spoil that kid. Oh, because of what you're doing, that kid's going to talk back to you. That kid's going to be, people view kids as little monsters. If you treat them as people, all the frustration and behavioral issues go away because they're brilliant. Children are brilliant. They know when they're being fucked with. They know when they're being lied to. They recognize injustice. I recognized it from the moment I was 5, right? So we know.
Yes.
And if you are an ally to your children, they will not give you any problems. They will work hard for you, and they will support you when you get older because they're going to become stronger than you. They are going to, and that's our objective, unless you deliberately hold them back. And that's what white supremacy does. They even deliberately hold back their own kids because they're afraid of their kids taking their power. That's why we have the same people in office for 50, 60 years. People are afraid to transfer power because they know they're abusive. Right?
And it's an ego thing, okay? And they don't want anybody to supersede them.
Right.
Because they are superior to everyone.
Yep. They'll burn down every painting that's better. They'll burn every book that's better than the book they wrote because they don't have the ethics or the integrity or the work ethic to become better themselves. They dedicate all their energy to holding everybody else down. That is the United States of America. That is the white supremacy crime of this country. The original sin, holding people down so that the mediocre think that they're special. That's it.
They put the mediocre in charge because they know that they can control them mentally. And if they tell them to do something, they're not going to question it. They're just going to do it.
And that's why they create,
sign it. Just like Trump, for example. Trump is just a puppet.
Oh, man.
He's just a puppet. He just signs. That's it.
Yep.
The people behind him are the ones in control.
Yep. It's like this. And they create the artificial construct of money. Money means nothing. They create this whole system that's completely invented, just so that they can lord it over us. And this is why every single time, especially now in this political environment, when especially in my frustration with the Democratic Party is going to come out here, when they want to pick their candidates because they say this person is a better fundraiser, that's like saying we're going to pick them for nothing, because funds mean nothing. What means something is activating the people, generating momentum, creating a wave, getting people who are enthusiastic, the power of the people. Money is that tool of suppression. And so much of our thinking as Americans justifies cruelty by saying it's in the pursuit of profit. And even though when you say it like that, you're like, clearly I don't do that. But people hit me with this argument all the time. Well, they're just trying to make money. It's like, well, what they're doing is immoral. It's like making profit doesn't justify immoral behavior. And the entire construct of money is just a justification of immorality.
They're soulless.
Correct.
Okay, they're soulless. And we need to remember that. Okay, you and I and all the ones like us, we have a soul, we have heart, we have compassion for people. They have none.
Yeah. We should talk about that. We should talk about.
Let's talk about it.
That's an interesting one because I mean I agree, but the thing is the way their brains work, and I was being led down this path. I mean I had to make a deliberate choice to transform how I was thinking because I grew up in that conservative reality where the idea is, especially among young boys, you can do whatever you want and never be held accountable, right? And when you're constantly surrounded by that, and you train yourself to just kind of overlook the cruelty or the suffering of your actions. Like you will never be held accountable for it. And you develop like this blind spot in your perception to all the crimes that you cause. And you see the ripple effect of that. When we start talking about things like, yeah, let's teach the real history of the United States. And people are like, well, that'll make people feel bad about themselves. And it's because they've developed, you need to feel bad about yourselves when you hurt people. That's what stops you from hurting more people. It's kind of the whole thing. But they've got this entitlement mindset where they put on these blinders where all they see is this immediate object, which is the source of their desire, which they think they have every right in the world to grab, whether or not it gives consent. And they've indoctrinated themselves to think that is their right. And then they just disregard all the agony and pain that comes as a consequence of that action. And that's what we're up against.
I'm going to tell you, Walter, many of them have already been indoctrinated themselves as young kids. So they're basically keeping all of these things, ancestral curses. They're just transferring it from one generation to the next.
Yes, that's the non-person. Okay. Well, that's because in the United States, we subject all kids to that period of non-personhood where they are trained over 10 years. Like the first 10 years of your life, you are trained in the United States. Everybody is. This is what's really sad about this country, to view some people as objects. And, some people are hit with it harder than others. And some people learn early on that it's like, okay, other people are treating me like an object. But I mean, me as a white man, it's like, you really get all the, hit with this entitlement and privileged indoctrination. And just at some point you have to turn to your heart and say, look, I prefer to help the people in my life. I prefer to assist. I see it's like, I have these authority figures telling me a person is not a person, but I see their tears and I have empathy for them. And I see the pain they're being subjected to. So you reject the authority figure is what you have to do. And this is what Americans can't do. Americans default to patriarchal authority. No matter what conservatives do, the majority of Americans still make apologies for conservatives. That stems back down because they endured a period of non-personhood and they're terrified that they'll be reverted back to that. They, by default mechanism, they think authority figures can revoke our personhood. And what we need to do is reject it. They are. And we have to reject that. We have to reject that assumption. Personhood is absolute. And we have to come together in a community and reject the authority of anybody who tries to steal anybody's personhood. And that's our fundamental objective. But it comes out when people start saying things like, oh, we can't do the same things. It's like they're gerrymandering. We have to be better than that. No, we have to stand up and protect the personhood of all people. And if it requires doing these kind of acts that we've been conditioned to say, well, it's okay for the extreme authoritarians to break the rules, but we never can. If we are breaking the rules in defense of humans, that it is perfectly acceptable. And that's what we have to start to recognize.
They're doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. And getting away with it and saying, oh, that's just the way I am. Okay.
They never once make a rule they intend to abide by. Oh, okay. Oh, I just got a message from Sulfina. So let me see. She says, maybe you can send her another invite.
Yeah. If she can join us, I would love that because I have her bio right
Perfect.
here. Okay. I come prepared. Okay.
I just checked. So hopefully she sees this. Hopefully she sees that we can go. We've been going nice though. I always get a kick out of you, Margaret. You get me riled up.
Okay, hopefully in a good way.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always good. It's always good. Energy is life. Energy is life.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
Because
man.
sometimes I feel like some people may feel like I'm too much, but that's their problem.
Actually,
I'm just enough.
Miss Hughes just made I think you're perfect. But Miss Hughes just right. Fuck fighting fire with fire. We need to use water and extinguish their asses. And I think that's a great comment because we are pushed into this area where we play the conservative game. We play the game that the authoritarians have imposed upon us. They've set out the monopoly board, right? They've given themselves every advantage. And if we lose and complain, they say we're bad sports. It's time to start flipping tables, people. It's time for us to stop abiding by this rigged system within which we cannot win. And the first thing they do is they tell us that we are being unjust by demanding to be treated fair. And we have to overcome that and assert that we have the right to be treated as human beings, even though they subjugated us when we were children. We have to erase that conditioning, embrace a new reality. My kids have been raised in a world I can't even comprehend because they never knew what it's like to feel like a non-person.
They don't know how to spell fair treatment.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So if you can't spell it, you don't even know what it is. A soulless human being, but you want to be treated with dignity. No, you demand to be treated with dignity and respect. And you have our livelihood in your hand, and you can eliminate our job at any given time.
Yep, the rules for them don't never apply to us. And then when we bring it up, they complain that we're being unfair somehow. It's like we just have to stop. It's time to tune them out. It's time to turn down the volume, not just on the voice of the authoritarians, but of the indoctrinated voice of authoritarians that's been planted into your brain without your knowledge. I hear so many otherwise, people that are good people that are hardworking, but they confront their activism with the parking brake on. We got her.
Here we go. Yes.
We're all riled up. So good to have you here.
Yes. And I have your bio here, and I want to give you your flowers, okay? Because you deserve that. Okay?
Can you hear us? Okay, are we good? She's frozen. It looks like. Let's make sure we got her.
At least she's smiling.
Good. Okay? Yeah, it smells good. Can you hear us, Sophina? Oh, we lost her. Send it again. Send it again.
Okay, yeah, of course.
You gotta send it again. One thing after another. It's the tech bros.
It's all good.
They're trying to hold us back. They can't hold us back.
No, they can't.
Okay.
Yay!
Now it's okay. There we go.
I have time zone issues every time. So good to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for holding up. Like, I genuinely thought we were gonna go live in like 2 hours, so I had no idea.
We can
no
go.
worries.
I don't have anything else planned.
No worries. We got you. Okay. I got your bio here. Okay. I don't know what your name is. It really don't matter to me because you're powerful. Okay.
That's okay. And so, you can call me Sophina.
Sophina, okay. I'm with you. Okay. Letters from a Feminist. Okay. You have an independent, reader-funded digital publication, okay, and community dedicated to reimagining social and political issues through a feminist lens, okay, serves as a educational hub and advocacy, okay, platform designed to destigmatize feminism and explore its application in modern life, both online and offline, and you have over 10,000 subscribers. That is amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And your core mission is the publication operates on the principle that gender equality is not just a woman's issue, it's a universal movement.
Absolutely.
Okay? And I support you. Okay? You got the destigmatization, okay, systemic analysis, educational
Thank
outreach,
you.
okay, your weekly newsletter, and feminist theory
Oh
101,
my god.
okay? And I
Wow.
support you, okay?
Thank you.
And I
Wow.
have
That's such a
subscribed
warm
to
welcome.
I have subscribed to your publication as a founding member, and I
Woo!
have
I
recommended your
know.
publication.
Yay!
Thank you. Honestly, that was the warmest welcome I ever received.
Margaret's great. All right, just
Yeah,
play
yeah.
off of it, Zofina. Let's hear. Let's hear what you have to say.
Yes, whatever you got for us.
Honestly, I genuinely am blown away with the support. Thank you guys so much for inviting me here. It's amazing. We talked, Walter, a couple weeks ago. It was
Yeah.
great. I mean, what you doing with the congressional candidates, it's very important. And I mean, I'm just glad to have you guys here. Like, it's a very amazing, like, like a warm community. And it's just, yeah, like no words. It's great.
You're hitting such. You're doing so well with your notes. I mean, they're just taking off. I
Thank
keep
you.
seeing them. So, what can you tell us about that?
What can I tell you? Well, that I really like doing the notes because it's the thing that I'm most consistent with. Um, I can't do like I really like posts, but the thing is, I'm not that consistent with them because I have so much going on in my life, like every day. Like it's crazy because, so that's why I just stick to notes, and those are the ones that hit off the most. And I think it helps because I have like a really great a supportive feminist environment, and I also like just consume a lot of feminist media. So, yeah.
You know what you could probably do? You could probably do like every week, just do a roundup. Here's my, or like every 10 notes, my last 10
No,
notes, and then
that's
just
actually
write them
really
as a
great.
post and then read them. Like if you do the voiceover too, and you could even add a little commentary, like here's some of the comments I got on this, and here's how it hit, and this
Oh,
would, so it'd be kind of
I
maybe
love
easy to
it.
assemble something like that. I've
I'm
done that.
gonna take it up because I love that idea. I love
Yeah,
it.
perfect. More
Yes,
power.
yes.
Oh, what else you got for us, Margaret?
No,
Yeah.
I would no. Why don't you, Serafina? Why don't you tell us about uh, your story, how you come to Substack, and how you build
Mm-hmm.
this amazing community.
Thank you. Well, I think honestly, I've been like a lurker. Like I've been on Substack, but not as like a writer for like I think about a year. So I knew how everyone else, like the best-selling authors and how they did it, how they worked. And so I really wanted to like try it out. So I did it once and it didn't go that well. So then I tried again this year in the February, and it went really well because I just had like a more like amazing community. And I think what calls me is because I think it's just so important that it's the work that it really needs to be done, and also because I'm just really grateful to like nurture a space where there can be empowerment for everyone, and that's a space I don't see in my life right now, so that's what I'm trying to
Yes.
create for everyone else. Yeah,
The, one thing, it's so important because the media is corrupt, the media is compromised, they do
absolutely.
not cover these stories and all the things, like
Hmm.
the way that everything is framed in the media. And I don't
Yeah.
know what, because you're outside of the United States, I don't know if this is just the
No, it's
influence of the United
absolutely
States.
true. I mean, American media and what their impact is absolutely like felt worldwide, and so I think it's important. I mean, covering American politics is also very important because it affects every single one of us outside of America, unfortunately. So, I mean, we're seeing it with the Iranian war, we're seeing it with the global economy, and so, yeah, I mean, the corruption is like felt. That's for
Yeah.
sure. I really do feel like, especially, I just more is like individual voices. There are more independent voices. They're buried in, and
Yeah.
stories that, like, for example, what I see trending on Substack is absolutely like sometimes I don't feel like it deserves like it's gonna be like, oh, Trump falling asleep in a conference when there's
Yeah.
like 50 billion other things that he's doing
Yeah.
right now that needs
Yeah.
to be talked about. So
Well,
yeah.
they always elevate like the very worst people among us, and even if they're
Absolutely.
doing it, this is what makes me very, very frustrated, because even if
Mhm.
you bring somebody on to say this is bad, you're still giving that narrative all the air. And this is something I
Mm-hmm.
didn't even fully understand until I started interviewing these progressive candidates who are
Yeah.
all highly educated people. They're teachers, they're people who've worked in government, they're actually qualified to be leaders. And you're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
good ideas. And it's like, you have to understand, it's like at first I was frustrated. Why is the media elevating these other things and not these actual good ideas? And foolish me, I'm like, oh, once they realize how good they are, they'll start following them. And then months go by, and the big platforms still are just doing their same old performative bullshit, where all they're doing is complaining and reacting to what the oppressors are doing, but they're doing nothing to elevate the
Absolutely.
fighters who are out there working for us
Absolutely.
and to normalize their voice. And I'm done with them. And that's why I
Mm-hmm.
spend all my
Yes.
time with creators. I'm just not expecting creators with 100,000 followers or 200,000 followers to ever talk to me, because they're all part of the system. Or there's a couple good ones
Mm-hmm.
out there. I will acknowledge that. But the majority is, once somebody gets that big, it's because they got put there by an oppressive system. And it's only a matter
Absolutely.
of time, Sofina, before your notes start getting traction, not because the quality has gone down, but because somebody's recognized you're a threat to the existing power structure. It's going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
but we'll still be here to support you when it happens.
I just
Thank
want to
you.
ask you a question, Serafina.
Go
That's the
ahead.
reason why. That's the reason why I'm also on LinkedIn and YouTube. So if Substack ever go too crazy or whatever, then I
Mm.
have a place to go, and I have a website. So what do you have other than um, Substack?
Substack. Well, honestly, I've been thinking about it as well. I really do want to start expanding. I think I'll start with probably like social media. I think TikTok, and I know it's owned by Oracle right now. It's owned by Zionist, powers, but it really helps, especially to gain like a
Yeah.
more younger audience and like
Yeah.
just connecting with, Gen Z and stuff. So I'll probably go to there, and I think Threads as well. But I mean, YouTube maybe. But what I want to do is just sort of have my base here in Substack, because this is the place where we can build community the most.
Yeah.
Like, and every
Yes.
other social media apps, I really feel disconnected with like people and who are engaged, right? So that's why I think having starting off on Substack is really great. But
Yes.
I do agree with you, the point that you said about like big people, they're always reactionary rather than
Yeah.
actually wanting to find out solutions. And I think the reason why they do this is because if there was concrete solutions, then their platform is based on reacting instead of
Yeah.
acting.
Right.
And that is
Right.
exactly why they're not a threat to the system, because all they do is they condemn with like very harsh words. Like I
Yeah.
see that the UN doing that as well, but they don't actually do set something out or want to change the system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And they're very well funded, and funding is
Mm-hmm.
just another form of censorship when they use
Mm-hmm.
their money to shove their content down our throats. I never have bought and I've been a full-time writer for 10 years. I've never once bought an ad. It's entirely
Mm.
because of merit that anybody
Yeah.
is here anybody who has ever heard of me just through the merit of my content, not because I used some sort of financial privilege to silence a
Mm.
better writer and put my work in their place. I think that's reprehensible. And that
Mm.
practice is so normalized is something we
Mm-hmm.
have to work against. I do want to say, too, they have deprived us of choice. And I mean, the obvious is
Absolutely.
denial of bodily autonomy for women. But on so many
Mm-hmm.
other levels, we don't have any choice about what articles we read. Algorithms
Mm-hmm.
feed us content
Absolutely.
that we don't choose.
Absolutely.
The radio feeds content we don't choose. Substack is one of the only places where you can curate the content you receive by making the choice of who you subscribe to. You
Mm-hmm.
subscribe to this creator. And so then the last thing I wanted to say was, I think you need to make this is another thing. Make videos of yourself reading your notes, just like
I
a
will.
one
I
minute
will
video, a
really.
video of it.
I
Post it all over to
absolutely
these
will.
places, and that'll drive more. That'll be great too. Yeah.
Thank you, Walter. I love those suggestions. I'm gonna start writing them down
Well, you got a
because
video. You can just read the transcript. Yeah, there you
oh
go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
Right.
actually conveniently I was gonna come out with a video today, and it was like with like a follow-up post. So that's gonna be out today. But I also wanted to mention, you're so right with the whole comments about, especially with plagiarizing. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
today I
Mm-hmm.
saw, I mean, not today, but this week I saw it with Miss Alyssa
Yep.
Valdez
Yep.
Rodriguez. I mean, she's incredible. I went
Yes.
live with her once, and
Oh,
I adore her. Yeah,
I'd love to talk.
I have to post that recording. But no, she's absolutely wonderful. I mean, and then Richard, I think his name is, and he just plagiarized his work and her work and
Yep.
her investigations that she put in. And
Mm-hmm.
I just think like And he's really huge, you know, like he's one of like the really, he paywalls all his posts, and
Yep, yep.
I just really think it's unfair for her and just for all the work that she's putting in. Yeah.
We all noticed that. I was talking about with Arturo, and I've written to a lot of these bigger platforms of like, hey, could you help me out supporting these candidates? And it's like I never get an answer, but every time I jump on their platform, it's like, oh, that guy actually subscribes to me. I'm like, really? And then I see that all of them subscribe to me. And it's like, huh, I guess they're content mining. And it's like this idea that I've been talking about for 3 years. One day it'll become fashionable. They'll release it like it's their idea behind a paywall. And they've already, and look, guys, stop supporting the millionaires. Just stop it. They're not on our side. Working class people are the people to support. Like, get over that conditioning to chase money because it's never coming to you. It's just never coming to you.
Yeah.
We see. I'm sorry. We see that everywhere. And I wanted to talk about the ads, okay? Because if you're paying for ads, then your content is going to be seen more often.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And you're gonna be you have that preferential treatment. Even LinkedIn
Absolutely.
now, they're encouraging people to pay for ads. Well, I'm not. I can't say that. I can't say that I won't, because there's so many people out there, so many coaches, so many marketers, so many people out there with their content. And I was looking at a live earlier, and the woman was saying, how can we keep track of all of this information that we are consuming every day? After people leave this live, they're not going to remember everything. You know, if you go to 5 or 6 lives in a day, how much information
I
are
think
we
it sinks in.
actually retaining?
That's an interesting comment. That's it, because I know that, okay, like the right wing hate content, the reason they have to control everything is because nobody really wants that, right? So that's why they're the book burners. That's why they're all this AI content. That's why they're making us forget that people can do great things. You know, they have to drop it down. But it's once you have seen something better, right? Like all the dystopian novels where you're forced to live in this reality that doesn't work, that your body rejects, miserable every day. And then you fall in love. And that's what happens in every dystopian novel, right? And they're willing to throw away everything they've ever worked for just one more second of being in love and having that connection with a real human being. And I think that's the world we're in. We need to feel empowered because of that. Because once we do find they're trying to deprive us of that real human connection, and just a tiny little bit of it will take down their entire structure. But that's why they're so industrious about controlling everything, because they know how weak they are. And if you're just by virtue of being here in this chat, you're becoming more empowered. You start seeing those things, you get hungry for them, right? And you start seeking them out. You seeing more.
That's true. I mean, if you think about it, like with the overusage of AI, it really like the AI is trained off of us, off of what we have done, and and when you notice is that it starts becoming like a variation of a variation of a variation, and there's nothing, like there's nothing original anymore. And that's why I really enjoy Substack, because you have the chance to like be live and like have like, you know, your own community with your like subscriber chat and everything. And that's what other social media platforms don't have, because I mean, in other social media platforms you have the, you know, the endless doom scrolling. I mean, they literally engineered that off of gambling, you know, those slot machines. It's like it's algorithmically, you're psychologically wired to not connect with the other you know, person who's creating the content, but just to mindlessly scroll. And that is why I've always been sort of, you know, not too keen with Instagram or TikTok and all that, because you can't really form a connection there. But on Substack, I feel like it is different. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Well, the curating the content is so critical, and we're losing that in so many parts of our society. And like you said, they just want us to just accept the reality they present to us, to the point where we're looking at our phones rather than walking down the street, you know, and you'll see people crash into things. It's terrifying. Like the level of control that has already been imposed upon us. Once you start seeing how bad it is, it's sort of like,
you can't see it. Yeah.
And the programming continues, and we don't realize we're being programmed every day.
Yeah. I I do want to address in the comments because somebody was asking about the advertising for a service is a different deal. I was talking reference to a writer. I mean, I'm self-oriented. We all are, but it's just like, but as a writer, I don't want people to be forced to read. I want them to come to the things that I write because they see the quality of it, right? But I mean, if you're doing a service like I have to advertise painting a house or something like that, absolutely. Then you use those mechanisms. It's totally fair. So I don't mean to besmirch the whole world.
Yeah, but I also want to point out how, like, I really feel like, especially in the older generations, like the millennials and even us Gen Z,
Those
we
old
fail.
millennials. Yeah.
We actually we fail to see what's in front of us as AI. Like, I'm seeing this every single day. Like, if you go on threads, even on Substack here, people are restacking content or some wild videos, and they have no idea that it's AI, and it's actually frightening to see from the outside because you are aware that this is entirely generated by AI, and it's just so like dystopian because these people, they genuinely don't have the media literacy to
Oh,
understand that it is actually AI. And so that's why misinformation is so easy now, because everything with
yes.
a prompt and can be reality is basically just bent then. Yeah.
I'm
Let
curious.
me
Okay.
ask you. Let me
Sorry.
ask you a question. No, I'm sorry. Based on everything that we have to do, we have to run a business, we have to run our household, we have to take care of the kids, we have to do so many
Yeah.
things. How can we survive all of these things without the use of AI to help us in our daily life? Everything is so
Mm.
overwhelming.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, well, you just have to look back in your life before AI, before 2022. Like, how were you living then? Because, I mean, sure, we weren't thriving, but we were still like surviving. And so I don't think AI is inevitable. Like, there is some advantages to them, sure. But I also feel like we forget that we have lived without this technology for like literally forever, and it's very recent. It's barely been like a decade since we've been continuously using it. And so I think it is possible, but at the same time it is hard because everyone else around you is using it, so you may feel like you're being left behind, but the truth is you're really not. And I think that's what becomes crucial, your ability to adapt to these situations. That
Yeah.
starts to become more valuable than your reliance on AI. And so just strengthening your own power to live without AI is starting to become like a superpower, basically.
Yeah. Right.
Many of the jobs are being replaced by AI and similar systems. So we are impacted by it regardless
Mm,
of whether we use it or not.
absolutely. Yeah.
I I can't even. I asked my daughter how I turn off because it generates a response on things like Gmail, and
I
I'm just like, I
know, I
don't want this.
know.
Yeah, don't. That's
They
not.
just like
No.
stuff it down our throats because we know that we don't want it. Like, we know about this whole AI bubble
Yeah.
thing. And the thing about the economy, I really don't feel like within, like, it's happening right now, but I don't think it's going to be that. I don't think it's the next industrial revolution. I seriously don't
Nah.
think AI right now has the capabilities, and I don't think it will for like at least like another couple decades.
Yeah.
So I really think we have to stop believing that we're going to be left behind by AI, because right now it is really behind us right now,
I,
in my opinion.
but
Yeah.
I look at it too. It's like it is possible. We just have the people deploying AI are like the most evil people in the world. It's like if we had people that are like, because it's a tool, and I always say,
Yeah,
like, you can use a hammer to murder somebody, or you can use a hammer to build a house, and it's the
exactly.
tool's not the problem. It's the person holding it. And like the same thing is
Hmm.
true with like the algorithms. Like they could
Hmm.
change the algorithm tomorrow, and it would elevate
Hmm.
my content above all others. I don't even
That's not
want
going to
that.
happen.
Yeah, they're never going to do that. But I mean, it's like, but what they've done too is they've created a monster, right? Because here I am after 50 years writing
Hmm.
better and better and better because I never get any advantage ever.
Hmm.
It's like I always have to fight to get any kind of market
Hmm.
share. So you get to a certain
Hmm.
level. And like the amount of content I can produce now, it's like I think they think I'm AI because I can write more than most machines can. I'm just
And
pumping it
that's a
out.
superpower. Like, that's, you
Yes.
should nurture it, honestly, because I
Oh,
think,
till I pass out. Yeah.
especially within younger generations, like, they're losing the ability to write. They're losing the ability to critically think for themselves, to form original thoughts. So that is something that is like inspiring, and then that's something that's becoming more valuable day by day, because we're losing that. Like, right now people are overly relying on it because those evil people, Palantir, Elon Musk, all of them are just shoving it down our throats. So
Yeah.
it is very critical, like especially in schools. Like I think it's starting to become, it's more like normalized now, like socially. So yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say what they've done is turned us into a competitive society. People feel
Mm,
there's so many coaches
Pride.
out there. There's so many marketers out there. There's so many
absolutely.
people talking about politics. So
Mm-hmm.
how do you set yourself apart from everybody else? Everybody keep competing and comparing
Mm,
themselves and
mm,
copying each other and all of these things. And all of us are basically saying the same thing, but a different way. So
mm,
how do you compete against this, because it's just going to continue to get more competitive as more people come in?
mm.
So how do you set yourself apart? It's
Well,
not so simple. It's just not
that's
so
true.
simple.
I really don't think, I mean, to look at it in a way of competition, I think is like not the point, in my opinion. Like, I really feel like if we think that everything, like everyone is against us, or there's always going to be some kind of friction that is
Mhm.
like enabling us to connect with someone else, then that friction will be there. Like, I think sometimes that we create
Yeah.
that friction for ourselves. So in order to
Yes.
distinguish ourselves, it's to, first of all, to not listen to that sort of tension, which I think is artificially created. It
Yes.
starts from very young, and that's why, and to be able to distinguish yourself, you need to find your own voice, and to do that you need to be in an environment where there is no competition in the first place.
Where does
Yeah,
it exist? Where does this place
Well,
exist? Can you
you
tell
have to
me?
create it yourself.
yes, that's it. Each of us. No, yes,
Yes,
each of us has to be
absolutely.
collaborative. You have to
Mm-hmm.
reject the idea. And it's like,
Of
as a writer,
competition.
I've always done this where it's like the first thing I did on Medium, I created a publication to review
Mm.
independently published books. Because I'm like,
Yep.
I know the guys with the big contracts are never going to help me, but the
Yeah.
up and coming writers are going to help me. And also,
Yep.
too, on Substack, I try to
Mm.
interview as many people who are coming along. Zofina's going to have 100,000 followers pretty soon.
Oh
So I
God.
hope you still talk to me when you're at that level. And it's
What?
happened.
Oh my
It's
God!
happened.
Don't say that.
Well,
I would
I've had,
never
there's a lot
guess.
of people I've talked to when they had 100 followers, they've skyrocketed past me. Thank you. And then they'll bring me on and they remember you. We lift each other up, and then maybe they go through a
Absolutely, we
bad
do.
patch and I can lift them up. And I'd say, like, people in the United States, especially, were indoctrinated to compete because of the illusion of scarcity. Money is just
Mm-hmm.
printed. They could print more money.
Money is,
That's
yeah,
designed to divide us. Yeah. And
absolutely. Like money is a value. There is no value behind money. We put that value in ourselves using our own. We put it ourselves. Like we believe in it. Like this is a.
yes.
It's almost like a thing that we. It's like a. It's not even a real physical thing. Like of course it is paper, but the actual
Yeah.
like value behind it is a thing that we put in ourselves,
We
and
trade
that
our
can
labor
apply.
for that.
Absolutely, yeah,
Like, you
we
could
do.
build a house with your time and your strength and your knowledge and then
Hmm.
sell it for paper. You're standing there
Yeah,
with paper. It means nothing. And this
yeah,
is
it
no,
does.
because everybody gets so worried, like in the election, because it
It's
is
so
easy to
true.
like,
It's so
oh, these
true.
billionaires, they have all these resources. All they have is paper that they printed.
Hmm.
And that's why we're going
And
to
we
beat them.
believe in it. Yeah,
Yeah, but we're
that's
going to
true.
beat them once we recognize helping our community is power. And it's
Hmm.
like no amount of paper
Yes.
can change the human heart, right? You can
Absolutely.
be
Yeah.
tricked into it. You can allow them to trick you and coerce
Hmm.
you, but ultimately you still have that choice. And we've got to take
Yeah.
back that choice because they are trying to rob it in every single way they can. And we can't overlook the level
Absolutely.
of malice we're up against either at this point.
And it's
That's
so true.
why I'm sorry.
Sorry. I'll just say
That
something real quickly.
Go ahead.
It's just that like you see, especially how people get so triggered when you really realize that this money is like something that we believe in. Like if you tear apart like a $1 bill, people get so triggered. Like just giving it to me. Like I swear. And it
Yeah.
just proves that we put like value behind that. We believe in it. So why can't we believe in everything else too?
Every one of your videos should start with you ripping up a dollar bill.
Yeah.
More
Everyone
note.
will be
Yeah, rip.
Okay.
Then you come through it like this. It's
like
meaningless, people. Okay, Margaret, what are you going to say?
Yeah, what are you gonna say?
I forgot. That's okay. It's
Just
all
start
good.
speaking. Sometimes,
Okay.
sometimes it comes back. I do
Yeah,
that
it
all the time. I
does.
just start making words, and it's like, oh, magically it came back. Sometimes I don't make
It's
sense for like 5 straight minutes. I'm like, I hope nobody notices.
I just want to say I'm from Generation Jones. Okay, the same uh generation from Obama, okay, but don't hold that against me, okay? Because
No, we would never.
okay, because
Yeah.
our generation was all about, holding the status quo, because, my generation, we had no choice. We wanted to elevate ourselves. So we had these
Right.
jobs. So we just like, okay, whatever, let's go, whatever.
Mm,
Okay.
mm,
It,
So now the mentality is completely different. Okay. Completely different. We're in different times now. So we have to
yeah,
take our power back. We have to start speaking up. And I
yes.
talked about that yesterday. There's times to stay silent and there's times that we need to speak up and we need to know the difference. Right?
absolutely. Yeah,
Absolutely. They
that's
trick
so
us.
true.
I
Hmm.
wanted to ask though too, like, huh, as a younger person, you see all this AI stuff. What feeling do you get if you go into a museum? I had this experience recently where I put in some CDs. I'd been listening to the radio and it's all the same bland bullshit where they don't engage any
Yeah,
topics. And then I'm like, this is what I used to listen to. And I put it in and it was just like, it was just like my soul felt full again. It's like, oh, a real thing, like a real person. And it's
right,
like AI
right.
stuff has no soul and you can instantly see it. It comes
Absolutely.
by and you're like, it's like I'd rather look at a child's drawing, with a horse with 9 legs, than at least it's like a human sees that horse that way, right? And it's like that
Yeah.
tells me something. The AI
That's
stuff
true.
tells you nothing. So I mean, what is your thoughts on things like that? And if you see the difference in
Honestly,
real
that
life?
is so true. Like you can tell the difference, like the meaning, the things that it makes you feel, and that's the thing that AI can't replicate. They can't replicate something that arouses human emotion or something that like brings out meaning or we can interpret something from it. And so I really do agree sometimes when you can just tell something is AI by the way that it just has no human like voice. Like it basically feels like
Empty.
something that has been recycled or something and then just churned out. And so it doesn't feel, not only doesn't it feel original, it just feels like it's been repeated and it has been like it just
Yeah.
feels unnatural. Like that's what I feel like. It just feels unnatural.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's just amazing how the right in the United States, they do so much AI content all the time. AI, and it's so empty and it's just
Hmm.
incessant. And it's just like they
Absolutely.
ram it down our throat. And it's like, I did an interview with Hallie Claire Weems, and she's like,
Hmm.
she could teach Rembrandt a few things. That's how good of an artist she is. And I was just
She
looking at
is.
this, and you see, like, public schools are trying, oh, we don't need art class. They always cut that. And it's just like,
They're trying to cut out creativity. That's what
oh,
they're trying to
yeah,
cut down.
like just the ability to take something with your own hands and recognize your own power, I guess. It's like I don't need a
Yeah,
machine to render an image. I can make an image.
absolutely.
And it's like that
Exactly.
disempowering ourselves at so many different
Hmm.
levels where we have to submit. It's just all submission, right? Submit. And that's why I'm done. Like this, it's called the submission process to get a book published. That's why I'm like, I'm done with that. I'm not submitting anything ever again. You want my book, you gotta come to my door with a couple grand, and then you can buy the privilege of reading it, and then you can determine if you're gonna pay me enough to publish it.
Yeah.
No
I
more
love
That's
that.
submission.
wonderful.
No more
I
submission.
love that. I
I
love
love it.
that.
Hmm.
Yes. No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
the
I think
real stuff.
it's really wonderful that we can even have these conversations because like we're generations apart. Like we are literally continents apart, but
Yeah.
we can still form connections, and that's what I feel like is not, that's against the status quo in the way,
Oh,
because we are connecting, we are bridging
yes.
connections intergenerationally, and that is, it's really powerful. And I really think that's why I don't think I'll forget you, Walter. I will definitely not forget you. And
Good. I
it's
hope
just,
not.
yeah, it's just great because this is like, the base, the foundation of a community. So yeah.
Well, and I wanted
That's
to say,
why that's why these conversations are so important because we are
Hmm.
bridging the gaps
Yeah,
between generations, okay,
absolutely.
between gender, between
yes,
races,
Race.
between,
Hmm.
yeah, all
we're
of the
getting a
things
true
that we
picture.
hold true.
We get that
Hmm.
true picture of reality. We build a model in our minds. I always compare it. We're all climbing the mountain from different sides, right? The mountain is
Right.
reality. I'm curious
Right.
about what reality is. I don't want to be subjected to some artificial version of reality, which is cruel and
Absolutely.
which was designed by a malicious force to make
Hmm.
all my labors benefit them. No, set that to the side. I know the mountain's big. I know the mountain's high. It's hard to climb. And they present their false reality as a favor they do to us. Even, and this is a tricky thing, that mechanism of exploitation is always presented as if we're ungrateful for not taking it, like not submit to it. It's like, no. And this is a critical moment in my life, because when I broke away, my family was really difficult. My father was really difficult, and everything was always a threat that if I broke away from him, things would get harder. And at one point I'm like, you know what? It can't be harder than this. And I'm going to accept. And if it's worse, fine. And if I die, fine. But I'm not going to live like this anymore. And that's our modern reality for everybody, right? And so we just have to reject that. But they work your guilt. They work your most powerful instincts, shame, guilt, love, all these things. They pervert and they make us prisoners in their system. And we have to have the courage to do the work ourselves, which doesn't sound appealing, but at least you're wrestling with true reality, right? At least your master is the universe and not some artificial person with delusions of grandeur who secretly is just exploiting and abusing you. Get out into the world and find it.
And it's also like, in a way, it also disproves this thing that we're all like supposed to be against each other, right? Like white people aren't supposed to get along with black people, but we can. Like we all can, because we all have connections. We can all connect as humans, and that is something that is dangerous, because they don't want you to think that you can unite as a whole front. They want you to keep you divided, and so
artificial divisions, and that's entirely it. That's the one thing, that's like the one thing the white supremacists, well, it's always easier to destroy than to create. And I said earlier, it's easier to burn books than to write them, right? And it's easier to divide than to unite. And we get coerced because of that system where early on they indoctrinate us to think the authoritarian is what must be obeyed. And it's like, but if the father is abusive, he has to be held accountable and be cast out. And that's like the law that we've forgotten. We need to reclaim.
Absolutely.
Okay, I want to say one thing before I forget. I wrote it down. Okay, they don't look at us as human. You said human.
Absolutely.
Okay, they look at us as serving them. So they look at us as being less than down here. I don't know what you would call that. It's not an indentured service. It's like a field person, like a field,
an object.
You know,
they make us into objects.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, pawns in their own game. Yeah, absolutely.
And we see that too. Any big platform that refuses to elevate a smaller voice is also doing that. I mean, even if they're on our side, if they refuse to collaborate at all levels, and the talk I had yesterday with Julie Rodzinski, and because I'm saying you guys can't, she's great. And it was like, we can't rely on these algorithms anymore. These algorithm systems suppress our side in all cases, because every algorithm-based system has been captured by the right wing. And she was like, well, what do we do then? And it's like, we have to go circumvent that. We can't give them any money. And we need our candidates to be out talking to people. We need our decent people. We need a revolution where we're building up an alternative media ecosystem that actually embraces and elevates good ideas. But we do have to recognize these algorithm-based systems are suppressing us and exploiting us. We have to respond.
We need to also hold people accountable.
Yeah.
Hold their feet to the fire. You said you're going to do this. Where is it? What are you doing?
Yeah, they get mad. Yeah, let's see, walk the walk. Don't just talk the talk. Yeah, go ahead.
Exactly.
That's absolutely true. I mean, I really think a good example of how politicians, they need to be held accountable and not seen as like celebrities is how Mamdani did it. He obviously had like a cult-like following when he was doing his whole campaign, and it was very effective. But immediately afterwards, he just started to get to his promises, and we need to stop. Like after we get them elected, it's time to start holding them accountable, right? It's time to stop, to take away the the pride or like the obsession or like the following that we have on them, and then just like because they're not celebrities, right? They're people who are supposed to serve you.
And that's another big problem we have. It's not enough for them to say, I am anti-racist. You have to do something right now, and act today. And we have this divide even among the left where people are like, well, he said that. You got to get behind him. It's like, I need to see action. They're sitting on this big wad of money. They could promote me. It's like because I'm the one who has to defend Mamdani, because our corrupt and captured media system is going to attack him. It's going to try to tear him down. So we need politicians who are smart enough to recognize the independent journalists are out there doing the work to ensure that they can succeed too. That applies to
Mm-hmm.
Sophina and Margaret too. We need that support and we need to pressure them, but they do. They need to act. Words are cheap. Words are not enough. It's not enough to talk the talk. You have to walk the walk. And people that get mad at you for pressuring them to do that need to rethink that attitude too, because unless we're pressuring them, we're just enabling our own abuse.
We also need to limit their once they get in office, we need to limit their positions there. They
Their
can't
power.
run forever. They
Oh,
can't
good.
run
Term
forever.
limits. Term
Okay?
limits.
Term limits. Thank you. Okay? Look at Lindsey Graham. Look at the other one that
Oh
used to be in
man.
charge. He was in a
Yeah.
wheelchair today. I forgot his
Oh
name. He
wow.
was the speaker. Okay? Get these guys out of there. Get them out.
Well,
And
and that's a
Yeah.
problem. The Democrats in the United States, they're anti-democratic. They deliberately suppress primaries. It's a real issue. People need to talk about that.
That's true.
What
And
else
they
you got?
should really, sorry, I was just gonna say, like, they really need to have some, I think you mentioned this, like fresh blood, like some new
Yeah.
people,
We
who
need a pipeline.
actually,
Yeah.
presents us. Like these people, they are not leaving a good, like they're not building up the next generation. You know, they're kind of,
Deliberately.
they're deliberately pushing down what the next generation will do. They're doing whatever they want, and their consequences doesn't matter to them because we're gonna be the one who feels them, and they're not gonna be there
we
to
do.
witness it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we need to do something with the Supreme Court. They
Oh.
are the same thing. They are
Yeah.
complicit. We need to get them out.
Yep.
Absolutely.
They were talking about that in Virginia, like just making the mandatory retirement age 54 to get rid of the Virginia Supreme Court. And we got to use tools like that, especially when this corruption is this level. But are you guys feeling? Do you feel that people are coming around? I don't know. What is your read on the current situation? Are people figuring it out? Will they do it fast enough? Sophina, do you have an answer?
I honestly, I do feel like we're getting there. Like, I feel people want this sort of information. They want a platform. They want that kind of sense of empowerment, of community. But I think we need to stretch that out in like real life, beyond online world. We need something
Absolutely. Face to face.
Absolutely, yeah. Something that just like feels more real on the outside, because it's easy to fall into an echo chamber here. Even with this, empowerment talk, it's great. But if we are stuck in this echo chamber without acting, then it's kind of pointless. Yeah.
I feel like the left doesn't have, and like the echo chamber thing is when people are denying reality, and I think the left, because we are respectful of truth and like real human experience, we'll argue with each other. And it's something I've had to remember. Like, my experience as a white man is different than your experience as women. And it's over time you learn where you're just like, oh, I can be, it's not a threat to me to just be respectful of other people's existence. But a lot of that conditioning is just out there. And once we have more and more of an example of people just respectfully listening to each other, where you see good conversations and happy support, it's like, why wouldn't you want to join that? That's more fun than beating people up all the time and having people being pissed off at you. If everybody's having a party, it's like, don't you want to come over to our side?
No, that's true. That is true. Because, well, I guess, just uniting, it feels more scary because they've known hate all their life. Like, they've been taught to hate. Like, that's what their surrounding has been. Their environment has told them the other side is like, it's not going to be welcoming of you, or it's not for you. And so it does feel foreign to them. And that's what they've known. Like, for example, white supremacist values, patriarchal values, that's what they have known all their life. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't hold them accountable, but we should be more accepting of them.
That's what we were talking about before. The denial of personhood in the United States, you're subjected to that. So no matter what, they are more afraid of making the authoritarian patriarch angry, than they are of the consequences of just allowing that person, they'll never even try to make things better for themselves because they're too afraid. And they don't believe us when we say together we can topple that. So I keep being hopeful that maybe the end of this regime will finally awaken enough people we can continue to do the work, because it's going to take a long time. But hopefully this will be the death blow to that patriarchal abuse system that really has been a scourge on humanity since the beginning. How it infects all of our laws. We have to rethink that. Like in the United States, marital rape was legal until 1993. I mean, we have not advanced as far as we need to advance. And just like these basic levels of humanity, we put band-aids on things and keep building on a corrupt structure. And at this point, we got to dig up the structure, lay a new foundation, one that is based on the personhood of all people and their right to being treated as humans. Because I think my children, because as when you're vulnerable, when you're a child, when adults lie to you and tell you you are a non-person, that settles in. But if as a child you are nurtured and you feel in your bones you should be treated as a person, that changes your approach to the whole world. You become much more powerful. So the more kids like that we can build, that will be the end of the patriarchy. It could be as fast as a generation. Yeah,
that is true. I mean, I've heard of this quote somewhere, but we won't have true gender equality until fathers they help raise the next generation, until both parents are involved in helping raise a generation. But what you said with restructuring, that's what it feels so scary, because this is what America has known for like all of its like basically and so that's why the change, it feels, it's very scary, and that's why there is a sense of inaction from the left, right? Because it's that means you have to reorganize what you have known all your life and what has history is known like forever. And it does have also, you have to think about the global impact as well, because in my opinion, I feel like America is like sitting on a stage and we're all just kind of like watching from the sidelines, hoping for, not the worst. And so there's like it has a lot of ripple effects.
Yeah, and America's always been this like scared little boy, and it builds up this huge army and rattles its saber, and it's just like there's no monster out there for you to be afraid of. It's just there's only other people, and we can love them, and we'll be fine. And it's just but getting people. There's that movie called The Village, M. Night Shyamalan. It kind of addresses this. I don't know if you know it, but they've built up this whole structure. They've told the kids that there's these monsters out there, and then they have their big reveal, and once they get the big reveal, it's like, yep, all the evidence was right there this whole time. But it takes courage, and it takes this community and validation where we can nurture each other. Because I think even the left in the United States isn't fully aware what they're fighting against yet. And they haven't fully rejected this authoritarian concept. And the more we can just bring people, this is why where I get into a lot of fights where people are like, you can't say these things. And it's like, no, you have to put your brain in a whole nother place. You're still working within a structure of white supremacy. You have to get your mind into the new world and drag people out. And it's hard to use corrupt tools to build a better world, but that's all we can do. That's all we have. So we're stuck.
No, that's true. I mean, what you said about it's hard for them to accept it. It's hard for them to accept constructive criticism, because that kind of also links back to critical thinking and being able to think for yourself. It just kind of comes,
They can't accept any criticism whatsoever.
Because
that bruised their ego.
Yes. We got to bring back the academic disagreement. I've learned this a lot, and these lives have helped me to remember that, where it's like, we want the same thing. We're approaching it from different sides of the mountain, so we see different things. But we have to have faith, because the right is bad faith actors. There are good faith actors who disagree with us. And we can't drive away the good faith actors who disagree with us, because they see a different side of the mountain. They see things differently. So this is a hard thing to learn. We are coming into that awareness, though. We're getting there.
Slowly but surely.
And especially hosting these conversations, having other people listen to them, that still helps. That's all I can say.
Go ahead.
That's why it was so important for me to reach out to you to have this conversation with all these different groups, so we can all come together, and bring people together, and so we have to continue to reach out and to meet new people and cultivate and nurture these relationships.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Can we get a primal scream out of you? Just You don't have to. I didn't mean to do that. But Margaret and I were just Margaret and I tend to have this kind of building energy where we just start, and then we give you some space. But then I appreciate having you here, because you kind of keep us tethered to the earth a little bit more. And that's exactly, I don't know. I alternate between rage and reason all the time. And I think whatever the the moment calls for. That's what we should use.
Yeah, that's
I'm still thinking of video ideas too. You should be like taking oil and putting it on a toothbrush. They're like, oh, like just weird stuff to get. You got to do things to make people stop scrolling. We'll have to brainstorm a bunch of ideas.
No, that's absolutely. Please, that would be great. I'll start off with the dollar ripping though.
Yeah.
I really gotta do that first. It's gonna get people really angry.
See what happens. Then you can do the same note multiple times. You can do it 30 different ways. I mean, the people got to hear it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Love
and
it.
What? There was one other thing I've been thinking about that you'd said. I guess. Are you rushed for time, Margaret, or can I do one? Can
no,
I
go please.
Okay.
No, please.
But there's that really important issue because so many men where they're just like they frame it as like, look, I'm the father of daughters, and it's like, yeah, it needs to be because of just basic humanity. And I've been thinking about that, and it's just like the reality is my appreciation for human beings has grown with my children. I think I am tying into that. I think that's important, and also like because I've been thinking a lot about that conversation and how you brought that up. So much of it too is just there is that threat. There is the threat because when you're up against people, you say, look, if you are attacking my daughter, this you're tying into the authoritarian model. But it is right. We have to change and just be unapologetic supporters of humanity, as you've often said. So that's been on my mind. But yeah, having kids has transformed me. And I think more people, if they could learn the lesson of having their kids and just embarking on true unconditional love, learning to have, and it's like part of unconditional. I think a lot of authoritarians are afraid because they think they'll be made a fool. And that's like, what? I'd rather be made a fool than never feel
the conversation it really did stick with me as well, because I mean, in so many, and how, like, when I see progressive men, they do say, oh, like, they believe in feminism, right, because of the people they know, the women that they know. But like, isn't it enough for women to be like 50% of the population, like half of the population? Like it's like, don't you feel like that sort of your humanity should extend to the rest of us, And that's why it just sometimes feels like there's more to it than just the woman in your life. There's like, there's the woman and the rest of the world who needs you too. Yeah.
It is. And I mean, we should have humanity for animals and we should have humanity for plants. And it's just like ecosystems that support life. And it's just, I guess a lot of it is because you have this tremendous feeling for these things and you're trying to figure out a way to convey it to some awful person who has no feeling for anything. And so sometimes the language you use, we're directing it to try to direct their perception to the importance of it and how important it is for us. What's the thing you love most in the world? Your pickup truck and your rifle? It's like, I think of my kids the way that you think of your pickup truck and your rifle. I mean, if we have to use language like that to get them to recognize basic humanity, I don't know. But I'm having a hard time with a lot of them. I think we're better off just forcing everybody to treat their children like people. I think that's kind of my point of activism at this point.
That in itself would make the world a better place. Okay,
man. Take away that childhood trauma. That's all we have to do. Why is there disagreement on that? Yeah.
Right. Remember that saying, life, love, and the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah. Whoever wrote that? That seems like a good foundation for a country.
I forgot. I don't know. Was it Thomas? I don't know.
No, forget about it. If it's that guy, forget about it. Yeah, no.
Thomas Jefferson? I don't know. I'll look it up.
But for everybody, not just for the privileged elite, I guess. We have to add that in black magic marker on, so that we can change that document. That was the whole point as we learn and grow.
Yeah, I mean, the Constitution was there for people to change it when it stopped speaking for them.
Yeah, amendments. They're amendments. That's what that's for. That's the one thing.
Absolutely.
Are we winding down?
Yeah. I really enjoyed both conversations, and I want to thank everybody here for attending. And I would love that everybody would subscribe, to Safina and to Walter and myself. We are all on the same going the same path. Okay, we have
different sides of the mountain. We're gonna climb that mountain.
Right, we have shared goals, okay, and shared interest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shared integrity. We all want the same thing.
Yes. So when you subscribe to one, subscribe to all. Okay?
And share and restack and bring your friends and have them come along too. You'll feel better.
Absolutely.
It's better when we're having fun. Go ahead, Sophia.
It's true. Thank you. Yeah, it was amazing. Thank you, guys.
So good to see you. I'm glad we got it figured out. Those darn time zones. But you did good. You're halfway around the world.
Thank you. I mean, I would love to have more of these chats.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we'll do it
Great.
all the time. What even?
Yes.
Yeah, you'll have to tell me in the DMs what time zone you're in, and I'll try to work it out. But I get it
Of
wrong.
course.
I get it wrong
Okay.
every time. It's like I think I'm smart, but I can't get time zones right. So it's just sort of like it's all right.
That's okay.
We need a tool. Maybe AI could tell us. No, we don't want. All right. Maybe we should leave it at that. All right. Are you going to shut us off, Margaret? I think you're in charge.
Yeah.
We'll just stay here.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you all so much. We appreciate you and love you.
We
Thank you.
appreciate
Bye-bye.
you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. All right.
Well, she left.